Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Lass with Christine and Company EXP. A lot of people ask me, how I like living in Bothell, Washington. I grew up there as a young kid. I've come back here. I now live in Bothell with my wife, and so I wanted to do a video, kind of explaining about the city. But I'm going to do 5 cons, 5 pros of living in Bothell, Washington, because it might not be the city for you, or it might be perfect. So let's check it out. Okay, let's get started. Pros and cons of living in Bothell, Washington. The first con I want to bring up, you probably have heard this a lot, but it's going to be the rain. So Bothell gets an annual rainfall of 41 inches per year. Mostly happens in the fall to springtime. We don't get a lot of rain in the summer, but that means we do get a lot of days that can rain here in Bothell. But we don't get a lot of heavy rain. We do get some days with heavy rain, but it's usually just light rain that happens, seemingly days on end. So that's something you definitely want to consider. Up next is, a lot of people don't know this about Bothell, but we are a central location for crows. Yes, crows, birds flying around. The downtown area and the UW Bothell area is kind of a hot spot for crows. In the fall and winter months, they like to roost there, and there can be as many as 16,000. Yes, actually 16,000 crows that will fly right before or at sunset. And I've seen it, and it's just a stream of crows. You can see them from your car, and it's just never ending. And so what that means for you is, I don't live near the downtown area per se, but we do get some crows that eventually end up in our area in the summer months and hang around and like to eat things and annoy people. But there are ways to get rid of them, some safe, humane ways to keep them away from your house. I've tried them and they work. The next one for Bothell is, kind of a plus and minus. It's just the high demand to live here, and that's created high prices. It's getting expensive to live here when it comes just to the rents and the house pricing. To come in here, purchase a single family home. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that we're looking at bidding wars for our buyers. So it can be extremely difficult to find the right home for you right now, just because the demand's so high. The next one is, Bothell is one of the few cities in the Puget Sound area that actually has fireworks legal on the 4th of July. A lot of places have, the county does allow fireworks. So fireworks are legal in the county, and so there are unincorporated areas of Snohomish County where you can light fireworks, you can purchase fireworks, and that's great. Bothell is one of the cities that makes it legal. So what does that mean? Means on the 4th of July, you're going to get a lot of people, a lot of neighbors lighting off fireworks into all hours of the night. There's going to be like loud mortars, those are the ones that shoot up and make a big bang. So if you have any pets that don't like fireworks, or you have children trying to go to sleep, that could be a problem. The police and the fire department, they're not going to show up if you call them and complain about fireworks, unless there's actually a fire that has happened on someone's property. They may show up. So that's definitely something to think about. And fireworks are very common in the Northwest as well on the 4th of July and New Year's. Even in the city of Seattle, fireworks are illegal to light in Seattle, but that doesn't stop people from doing it. And the final con for Bothell, I think, is really the roads and how they were developed. Bothell is an old town, and so the roads that are built are small roads. They're kind of long and windy. They're not very straight. The topography of Bothell itself has we have a lot of hills. We have a lot of hills, we have a lot of creeks, we have a lot of ponds and even swamp areas, and so the roads can be very, they were very windy when they were built, many decades ago, and people built their homes on those roads, or they had their farmland going up to those roads. So we haven't really been able to develop and widen a lot of these roads. So over time, as we've had more and more development, more people are using these small roads, and some of them can be a little bit dangerous for bicycles, cyclists, people walking, because a lot of them don't have sidewalks. And I don't know that these roads, depending on what part of Bothell you're in, it's something to definitely keep in mind is how safe it's going to be to walk. If you want to, walk to your local park and get there, are there going to be sidewalks? Because a lot of times there's no sidewalk. It's just the road, and then boom, there's going to be like a ditch going in on either side, because there's going to be like rainwater flow, and sometimes there's just no place to walk. So that's definitely a con and something to think about. All right, you made it through all the cons. I hope that hasn't scared everyone away. I don't think that was too bad, the cons that I presented. Maybe there's some things that are worse worse for different audiences, but let's get down to the pros. The first pro, it's kind of obvious. If you look at Bothell on a map, you go to any Google Maps and zoom out, it's right there, Bothell, and you can just tell that the city is centrally located. And I think that's why it's become so popular. If you look at Bothell on a map, you'll notice it's right in between, Everett up north that has, Boeing. It's between Everett, Bellevue, and Seattle. It's just kind of in the center there. So it has easy access to both I-5. I-5 runs from Everett to Seattle, and easy access to 405, which runs really from like the Mill Creek, Bothell area down to Bellevue, down further south into Kent and Renton, and eventually to SeaTac and back to I-5. So it's a centrally located area. It's good if you have family members that are working in different cities. You work, you may work in Bellevue, and your spouse may work in Seattle. You don't want to live in a big city. Bothell's kind of the city for you, because you can, one will hop on I-5, head to Seattle. The other one can hop on, 405, head to Bellevue. The other solution would be you live in one of those big cities, I suppose, and then one of you is going to have to take one of the bridges over Lake Washington, back and forth, and those can be, somewhat of a traffic issue. The next pro is another example of why the demand for Bothell homes is so great, and that's the North Shore School District. A lot of you, if you're here watching this video, you've probably already heard of North Shore School District. It's one of the best school districts, public school districts in the state, and so a lot of people want their kids to go there. There are better school districts in Washington State. Like you can spend a couple $1 million on your home, $1 or $2 million on your home, and be in the Bellevue School District, and you'll have really good schools. But alternative is to come up a little bit north and save a little bit of money on your home and still have really good school programs. But that's kind of all I'll say about it. I'll be having some other videos talking about the schools and what that means living in Bothell. The next pro for me is really kind of the opposite of the fact that the homes are really expensive and they're in bidding wars, and it's just the reassurance that with the demand of the homes that I know if I ever need to sell my home, if I need to move somewhere else, the homes in Bothell are going to be really easy to sell. There's seemingly always going to be high demand for other families that want to buy in. Like if you really wanted to get into Bothell and live in Bothell, and if you need to sell your home, really in any market, there's going to be people that want to live here for, you know, any number of these reasons that we're talking about here today. So it's just kind of reassuring. And yeah, I think the next pro is just, you know, there's areas of Bothell that kind of fit any type of buyer. We're kind of a small city, but you know, we have a downtown Bothell area, which is really nice. It's still being developed with like there's new shops and new businesses, new apartments going up. So we really have a kind of a downtown feel where you can just walk around everywhere, get everything you need. We also have, you know, large areas that have really suburbs. So if you like living in the suburb, having just like your big backyard, neighbors all around you, you know, green grass, white picket fence, you know, we have that as well, where you can walk to the park, quick drive to the grocery store, quick access to the highway. We have like the suburb like setting there. And then Bothell is still kind of an old city. We still have you know, farming areas. There's people that still have, you know, ranches for horses. My neighbors down the street, you know, they have farm animals as well. So it's kind of interesting. You can if you like all of that, you can depending on where you are, you can be living in like a suburb and have access to all of that. And it's still so I think that's why a lot of people like it, and it's still, you know, outside of the city of Seattle. So you know, it has all that going for it. And I think the last thing that I'll mention is, you know, people like it. Bothell is just north of Lake Washington. So I'm going to do another video talking about the parks, but you know, we, like every city, we have a lot of parks. We have a lot of good parks, but we also have at the north of Lake Washington, we have access to Lake Washington. So along Lake Washington, we have like the Burke Gilman Trail. It's really popular trail to go on. It's paved. There's places you can park and access the trail. It goes on for miles. You can really go from Woodinville, which I'm going to be doing some videos about in the future. You can, if you're a long distance runner, you're trained for a half marathon, you can run to Woodinville, back here to Bothell, and then keep running around Lake Washington the other way, get all the way down to Seattle. It's pretty incredible, these trails. So along with that, there are going to be other trails and other parks, and our parks here in Bothell in the Northwest. It's just kind of there's a lot of green. There's a lot of trees and bushes, water that you get to enjoy. It's not just like flat and open air. It's really just like a lot to see, and they're really popular, especially in the summer. So I think those are all my pros and cons for living in Bothell, Washington. If you have any questions, you can let me know. If you I'd actually like to hear your suggestions too. What things that I missed, pros and cons that I missed. Maybe I'll update this video in the future. But until then, I'm Aaron Lass with Christine & Company. We'll see you later.